I screwed up! Now you've probably heard of the idea of music plagiarism. Maybe you know an example for it. It's the idea that a band or a musician takes an idea from an existing song, like a melody or a riff or something, and uses the idea as their own in a song of their own. So I recently created a song called Vanarian. I uploaded it on this channel, but here's a little clip from it. Oh, Vanarian, just forget about the things I say. Oh, you gotta lean your head on mine. Now, sometime after uploading it, I was made aware that the song Oceanside by the Decemberists sounds quite a bit like it. Here's a clip from that. Sweet Annabelle, reclining on an ocean swell, as the waves do lather up to lay her down. Now the crazy thing I want you to believe is, this was unintentional. Hear me out! This is made possible by something called Cryptomnesia. I know it sounds super cool, wait for it. Now Wikipedia defines it as follows. Cryptomnesia occurs when a forgotten memory returns without it being recognized as such by the subject, who believes it is something new and original. I'm the subject. So a musician might have heard some musical idea in their lives, forgot about it, and then when trying to create a new song of their own, they somehow subconsciously draw from that idea, and they commit subconscious plagiarism. Now the thing is, I'm a fan of the Decemberists, I'm a big fan, I listen to them loads, but I don't own the album that Oceanside is on. And I don't think I've ever actually listened to the song in full before this was pointed out to me, but I have heard some of it. So even though I probably heard the bit of the song that sounds similar to Vanarian, I had no idea that the idea existed in that way until it was pointed out to me. Now, this is not going to court, you know, because I'm too small of a guy. But if it did, how could I possibly make the case that this was unintentional? Well, turns out I couldn't. There's a precedent for this in US copyright law involving George Harrison, as in the Beatle George Harrison, in a 1971 court case. Now, Harrison was accused of basically copying the song He's So Fine by the Chiffons, I think I'm pronouncing that right, for his own song called My Sweet Lord. Take a listen to He's So Fine. That handsome boy over there. And here is My Sweet Lord.
My Lord. My Lord. I really want to see you.
Now the same thing happened here. Harrison and his fellow musicians swore that they had not knowingly copied the song, even though to an outsider, it seems like that very much. The suit turned out to be successful and Harrison in the end had to pay damages. But the slightly troubling thing here is that during the ruling, even the judge himself commented that he did not believe Harrison had deliberately plagiarized the song. Here's a quote from the judge. Did Harrison deliberately use the music of He's So Fine? I do not believe he did so deliberately. Nevertheless, it is clear that My Sweet Lord is the very same song as He's So Fine with different words, and Harrison had access to He's So Fine. This is under the law infringement of copyright and is no less so even though subconsciously accomplished. So under the law, Cryptomnesia is treated no differently than deliberate plagiarism. That sounds slightly dangerous, doesn't it? But how could you ever prove definitively that an occurrence of Cryptomnesia is not an act of deliberate plagiarism? Well, I don't know, I guess you couldn't. So what can you do as a musician? What can I do as a musician? Well, cryptomnesia tends to decrease when you specifically try to pay attention to the origin of your ideas. So when you have a striking idea, you're supposed to ask yourself, where did this idea come from? Where did this melody come from? This riff? Where did this hook for the chorus come from? Did I create it myself, or did I subconsciously take it from someone else? And the funny thing is that I did do that. I've always been very aware of, trying not to copy other people's ideas. And yet this one just seems to have slipped through. And maybe some things just do, and there's nothing we can do about it. I'll see you in 2 weeks with a new song.